Hello everyone, welcome to the infamous Wall of Shame, where journalists' reputations go to die, where journalists have to print corrections and retractions and articles questioning our ethics and our character. Today's retraction goes to the New York Daily News. The New York Times, the Daily News, to quote Billy Joel, New York's leading left-leaning tabloid, circulation at least 1 million, if not 2 million. The Daily News writes, quote, "Within days, the pair connected with Westchester-based Project Veritas, the group of activists that markets itself as a news organization, was founded by conservative provocateur and convicted felon." They called me a convicted felon. They had to retract that with an update. So many updates.
There's too many of them.
Update. I'm not a convicted felon. O'Keefe pleaded guilty to a Class B misdemeanor. Cue the retraction theme song. So let's take a look at this Daily News article. Headline, Florida pair pleads guilty to selling Ashley Biden's stolen diary to far-right group. Far-right. What's the difference between moderately right and far-right, by the way? The reporter's name is Molly. You can see her here, and you can tweet at her here. Maybe you could tweet at her to ask, what is a far-right group? What have I ever said that's far-right? Is it the investigations that we choose? Is it the subjects that we choose because we investigated Joe Biden? Or the FBI, or the pharmaceutical companies, or CNN? Does that make us far-right? What's an example of a moderately right group?
We're an anarcho-syndicalist commune.
Before, quote, "The group of activists that markets itself as a news organization was founded by conservative provocateur and convicted felon James O'Keefe." They called me a convicted felon.
Your Uncle Joey didn't make parole again.
It's known for practicing deceptively edited videos showing undercover ambushes of liberal targets. Well, I'm not a convicted felon, and they had to retract that. Quote, "The group of activists that market itself as a news organization was founded by conservative provocateur James O'Keefe. It has come under fire for what critics say are deceptively edited videos." Who are these people making these claims that we deceptively edit?
Bueller.
By the way, they took out the hyperlink, so now it's just according to people, according to critics. People say.
Like once I met this guy who knew 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 this guy's cousin.
A previous version of the story incorrectly characterized Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe's criminal conviction. In May, O'Keefe pleaded guilty to a Class B misdemeanor for entering federal property under false pretenses. What the Daily News edited out was the signed factual basis signed by the United States Attorney in Louisiana, which stated further investigation showed that we committed no felony. So they charged us with something that we didn't do. Wow. Yes, that actually happens. Federal prosecutors actually charge people with things they don't do so they can scare them and pinch them into pleading to a lesser crime.
We didn't choose to be bureaucrats. No, that's what Almighty Jah made us.
Oh, and by the way, all the other federal prosecutors resigned in disgrace for creating fake aliases and commenting about me and other defendants that they were prosecuting.
Letton's former second in command was posting online anonymously and doing it leading up to fellow prosecutor Sal Pericone's resignation, a resignation that was tendered for the same type of anonymous online posts.
Letton was forced to resign.
My resignation as United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Louisiana will take place.
And here's a little video of me confronting the U.S. Attorney Jim Letton, who was involved in this matter. Your judge destroyed my evidence. You destroyed my evidence, and it's written in a New York Times.
I didn't prosecute your case, asshole.
New York Times best-selling book. New York Times best-selling book. It talks all about it.
I recused from your case.
Your judge destroyed my evidence. My private attorney-client privileged emails were leaked to members of the press. Who sent those emails out, sir? Was it you?
I don't interview with you.
Although Letton recused himself from our case, Jan Mann was assigned to prosecute us. We had reason to believe members of Letton's leadership team, including Jan Mann, were leaking my attorney-client privileged emails to the press. My attorney sent a letter saying so in February of 2010 to Jan Mann, and we never heard back. Federal regulations and Attorney General promulgated rules mandate disqualification of officers or employees in DOJ who have such conflicts of interest in relationships. So in addition to charging me with a crime I did not commit, and one of his U.S. attorneys admitting in a signed factual basis in federal court that I did not commit that crime, he resorts to using an Irish racial slur.
You're a nasty little cowardly spud. You are less than I can ever tell you. You are scum. Do you understand?
You took 3 years of my life from me, sir. You took 3 years of my life from me. I didn't terrorize your family. You threw me in federal prison. By the way, this guy who resigned in disgrace from the U.S. Attorney's Office became a dean at Tulane Law School. That's where disgraced former federal prosecutors go. They go to teach the law. You can't make this stuff up. Which is why Molly, I almost like grimaced at the alpaca. I was like, which is why, Molly, I'm going to send you an alpaca. And I'm going to put your retraction on the wall of shame where it will live in infamy forever. See, all of this could have been avoided if you expressed curiosity about what happened to us. There's chapters in my book about this whole Louisiana situation. A whole book became a New York Times bestseller. Isn't that interesting? That was before we sued the New York Times, so they put it on there. I'm going to send you an alpaca. I want you to practice introspection. I want you to apologize to me personally for calling me a convicted felon, a crime that I didn't commit, and something that the U.S. attorneys in the Eastern District of Louisiana said in court I did not commit. But you published it in the print edition of the New York Daily News, where it lays on all the subway cars for people to read. They read something that wasn't true, and I should sue you. But I got better things to do, like send you this. It's going to shame you. We're also going to send you a box of stuff. I look forward to your feedback. Stay tuned.